name's Sam and this is a Little Greenhouse Creates. Thank you for joining me today and welcome to our final card for the DSP of the week, where we take scraps of DSP rather than the packs, what we have left once we've done all our designs. Do we throw them away or do we keep them? Now 9 times out of 10 we actually keep them, and I wanted to give you ideas of what we could do with them rather than just sitting in a box in the corner. So this is our final card for this week, and as you can see I've got little squares of paper. I'm using the lovely Blossom paper for this particular card. So this works either way, portrait or landscape, as you can see. Now I've done 2 versions. This one I just stuck them down, worked roughly how to do it. This one I worked out by using lines. So we're going to show you how to do the line version, because obviously you can work out just putting them down. They're a little bit too higgledy-piggledy for me, hence I went for the lines, but obviously you're free to do as you please. So this is just a guide. So let's bring in the supplies. I have actually got 14 1-inch squares, 2 of each colour, so that's 7 designs, or 7 pieces. Brain is gone. 7 inches squared. There we go. So as you can see, we've got 2 of each type. There we go. That's that one, and then I've got that one. So of course, obviously, you've got the other side should you wish to change it up a bit. Right. Okay. So what else have I got? I have Pretty in Pink, which is my base card. So that measures 8 inches by 5 3/4, which I've scored and burnished at the 4-inch mark. I then have a layering piece of Old Olive, which measures 3 3/4 by 5 1/2, and then I have a white piece that measures 3 1/2 by 5 1/4, and I've also got a scrap piece. So what we're going to do first of all, because I have a tendency of forgetting to do it, is to take my Old Olive and my 2-inch punch. Now you can use whatever sizes you prefer or whatever you've got in stock. So I need that. I've done it into the middle, so I went as far in as possible and stuck it in so that when the white layer goes over the top, you would never know. Okay, then I'm going to take my white piece of scrap and I'm going to use the 1 7/8 of an inch, so it's almost 2 inches, and punch out a hole for that. So that's going to give me the sentiment. Right, so let's do our first thing, which is to get our stamping out of the way. I'm using Secret C. She says, trying to open it. And the sentiment thank you from the, so I'm using the thank you from the Lovely Arrangements, which actually matches with the Designer Series paper that I'm using at the moment. Okay, so this is going to be tight, so I'm going to poise myself for a while and then go down. So look at that. It was tight, but it's in there. So that's the main thing. Oops, let's pick that up. There we are. Okay, so let's stick that down. I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal. There we go. Pop that onto the top, and you will see there is a small 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. Okay, so we can put that over there for the moment, and we're going to bring in our one piece, or a white piece, which measures a 3 1/2 by 5 1/4. I'm bringing in my trimmer and scorer, and I'm going to measure it and score. So the first thing is a score down the middle, which is 1 3/4 inches. I'll do that. Bring up my board, and I'm just going to go down twice. So they got the score. Then I'm going to move it to 2 5/8 and score it. Then I'm going to turn it round and move it to 2 5/8 again. Okay, so that's our 3 main lines going down the page. Then I'm going to turn it to landscape, and the first one I'm going to score it at is 1 1/2. Then I'm going to move it to 3 inches, and then I'm going to move it to 4.5 inches. Okay, so there we are. Right, so the next thing to do is to hold our paper up that way, and we're going to work out our triangles. So obviously you don't want them to be too close to each other, as in what do I mean, as in the same pattern is what I mean. As you can see, that's roughly how we're going to go down. I think I'm going to do, actually I'm going to move that one out, pop that one up there. And what I'm actually doing for this line is A, they're inside these quarters, and B, the top point runs down the straight line so that the 2 points go through the line, and that way I know that they will be straight. So let's do that straight away. We're going to use our Stampin' Seal. I'm just going to put a strip of glue down, and then I'm just going to point it to the top, making sure it's pointing to the bottom as well. Okay, then I'm going to take the next one. Okay, and the next one. And then the last one. There we go. And that goes through there, like so. Okay, so you've got points all the way through, point to point. So now the next thing you're going to do is you're going to bring in your other points. So in a triangle, we're going to take your 1 inch square, turn it onto the triangle. The top and bottom points are going to run down the first line, and then the left and right points are going to run along this horizontal line, and that way you've got perfect positioning for your square. Okay, just wanna, that is slightly more than 1 inch. Let me just bring that, get my trimmer. Just feels a little bit too big. It's a hair's breadth, but we'll take it off. There we go. Perfect. Right, okay, so that's better. So that's left and right along the landscape mark, and up top to bottom down the portrait. So let's take our Stampin' Seal, and we're going to go there to there to there. Perfect. So I've done that one. We could come up with this one now. So again, we're going to do exactly the same. Top, side, bottom. Perfect. Right, I'm going to do exactly the same on the opposite side. So let's have a look. Let's get this one. So again, you've got side to side, top and bottom measuring up. I am going to put this on hold, finish this off, and I will come straight back. Okay, so you can see that I've put this on, apart from these two edges here, when I've got these here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn these round, and I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to level that up with that, and I'm going to make sure that the triangle runs along with the outline of the card. Okay, so that's that one. And then I'm going to do exactly the same with this one. So the point is going to run along the base of the card. There we go, that's that one. And that's that one. Okay, so you now will find that you've got these little edges. So get yourself a sharp pair of scissors and you are just going to cut off pieces that you don't need. There you go. Go straight in the bin. I could get it off my finger. And then the last one here. Okay, now what you're going to do is you're going to place this onto your matte layer, which is the, in this case, the old olive. I'm going to use my multi-purpose for this. I'm just going to run. That one's decided it's not working. Let's get another one. I've got more than one beside me, isn't it? Okay, so we're going to, there we go, run that down, and it is going to stick on there, so I'm not going to worry too much. I'm going to do it quickly. There we go. Right, rub that off. I'll have to wash my hands afterwards. Okay, so that's that one, and then it's going to go on your base card like so. So again, I'm going to use the multi-purpose. Now, once you've done this, you can decide whether you want it to sit as a landscape or whether you want to change it and put your portrait on. Depends on how you feel with your sentiment, how it sits. But for the sentiment purposes, I am going to use my dimensionals to raise it up. So let's take those. Put 3 on the back. 1, 2, 3. So you can have it like that, or I could turn it around and have it that way. Do you know what? I think I'm going to go for that. So let's take off the backs. Whoops. And that is going to sit probably about, try that again, about there. Okay, and if you want to, you can bring in some bling. So let's see what I've got. I have got, I've got these lovely little matte pearls, which come in old olive. So I will stick the name of these up in the supplies list so you know which ones I've used. I'm going to go for a big one in the middle, like that, and then a smaller one either side. That's one, and then there's the other one that goes there. 3. Perfect. So there you go. So that is the card completed. These are the 2 cards that I am still contemplating which colour backing to go on. I'm thinking I will probably, let's turn that over. That would probably work with that one, wouldn't it? And then I might even use a crumb cake on the other one. So look out for the decision backings on those 2 at the end of the video. Thank you ever so much, and I look forward to catching up with you next week. Take care. Bye.